In a studio that's in a basement comes the epic story of how two friends changed the future of the movie podcast game forever. The reviews are in. Boys Life magazine gives the High Sci podcast 4.5 acorns. The Daily Bugle says, these guys are super legit. And Pope Francis declares the podcast as life-affirming. From the kid who tried to get smart with David Spade and got fucking old.
You're still at. You're still bad.
And the guy who can name all four Baldwin brothers.
Alec, William, Daniel, and the baby boy, Stephen.
Live from the studio of his parents' basement. The Have You Seen It podcast.
Welcome back to the Have You Seen It podcast. My name is Mason Knight, and that over there is Cash Kraus.
What is going on, my dude?
You know, just another day in quarantine.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, sir.
I know. Every day feels like 10 days.
Or not quarantine, what is it? Lockdown, whatever it is.
I see. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
quarantine.
Maybe we don't
I
want
guess
to tell
it's-
people
yeah.
you're quarantined.
I'm
I mean,
not
that sounds like
quarantined.
you.
I'm okay.
that
Everyone, I'm
sounds like
okay.
you
I don't
have
have
it
anything.
already,
No,
yeah.
Uh-oh.
Don't tell
got
me
the
you're being
feds
quarantined.
showing up to my door, knocking, being like, hey, man. In full hazmat suits. No, that's not what I meant.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah,
don't tell me
you
you're
that.
quarantined. I
Hey,
gotta stay
man,
down.
I measured these chairs. They're 6 feet apart. Don't
Hey,
you
man, I
dare,
noticed all a
good sir.
plastic wrap down when I came in. Is everything all right with
Everything
you?
do it okay?
No, that'd be sad because we would have to do the podcast from a bubble, a
We
plastic
would.
bubble, and I would have to come in here and still do it in full hazmat. gear.
Hazmat suit, yeah, because you.
But we
can't,
all
we can't
prepared.
stop
We
the
are
podcast.
prepared if
Yes.
that does happen. Yeah.
Oh, we have taken every measure
Oh, the
needed.
NBA can cancel their season, but not us.
Did you watch the horse tournament yesterday?
No, but I wanted to.
Oh, dude, it was the worst footage I've ever seen in my life. These guys are multi-millionaires, tens of millions of dollars, but for whatever reason, they was really like.
Were they all
awful
in the same
3G.
place?
No, they're all different. They're all streaming for their own homes.
Yeah, it sucked. It sucked because it was probably them setting it up.
Exactly, yeah. But that was a common joke on Twitter. It was just like, oh my God.
Yeah, because you can't have a bunch of people over filming. You can't have
Yeah.
a film crew over, so you got to. That's like what everyone's doing with like the talk shows or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like the first few episodes didn't look so good
No.
because it was them. It was literally like Conan O'Brien. Those people that didn't do fucking anything, of course. But yeah, they were setting up, so it looks pretty shitty. So it looked pretty bad, huh?
Oh, it did. Yeah, it didn't. It
Was
was
Paul
hard to
Pierce?
keep up.
Was Paul Pierce like
He lost
filming
his
from
first game.
from a BlackBerry or something like that?
Kind of, essentially, man. Chauncey Billups,
iPhone
it was
3.
all, yeah. Trey Young too. His footage was terrible.
Oh, yeah, and him, he's a young guy.
Yeah.
So get a good camera,
Get a
Trey
good
Young.
get a good phone. Come on, are you kidding
I
me?
mean, you're young. You can do something. I can't believe the NBA didn't go around and set something up for those guys.
I know.
I guarantee they were filming from their phones.
They were. It was that bad. It was that bad a quality. They were all like FaceTime.
Who won? Do you know who won?
No, I had no idea. I put $20 on it. My guy lost in the first round, so I was like,
Who do you put money on?
put Trey Young,
I would have said Paul Pierce, or not Paul Pierce, but Chris Paul.
Chris Paul. Oh, Chris might have
the
won it.
smoothest shot, man.
Yeah, Paul Pierce was out in the first round.
He's old.
What are we reviewing today, Cash?
Oh yeah, not that.
not the
Not that,
basketball.
no.
What are we?
But
What are we
again,
reviewing?
that just shows you quarantine.
Yes.
Well, I mean, the lockdown. If we're
it
talking
makes
about a
you go
game
crazy.
of horse between a bunch of fucking retirees and I think one WNBA player was
Yeah,
thrown
two
in there.
actually. Yeah,
How well
there
did
were
they
two.
do?
I have no idea. I
What if-
didn't watch it after I lost my money. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm out.
One guy dunks and one of the WNBA players out.
Yes, I think that's
It's
how
kinda
it
more
works.
like, well, this is shitty. But yeah, anyways, that's how desperate we are. But so we're going back. There's nothing new coming out, so we thought we'd go back and review a very underrated film.
Very
flew
underrated.
very under the radar. Got amazing reviews, but The Sisters Brothers, a western.
And I originally wanted to review this movie on the podcast when it first came out about 2 years ago, but I think it was out of theaters by the time you had the opportunity to go see it.
Yeah.
And but dude, I kept recommending it to you. I'm like, dude, you got to see this movie. It's really
Well,
good.
I knew from the trailer that I wanted to see because I mean, it has Joaquin Phoenix.
And
I mean,
John C. Reilly.
arguably the greatest actor of all time, Joaquin Phoenix.
Yes.
And then they throw Jake Gyllenhaal. They say, hey, why the hell not?
And again, phenomenal performance by Jake Gyllenhaal in this.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was-
And Riz Ahmed, and that's the second
Yeah.
movie that him and Jake have done
Uh-huh.
together.
That
very
and
different.
Nightcrawler.
Very
Yeah,
different set of circumstances.
Nightcrawler
Again,
just gives you the
hard
creeps,
to watch,
man.
but this is a great. It's a little different. It's a dark comedy, which we've been doing a lot of.
We have,
but for the times, it's perfect.
it is
because
a
we're living
perfect
in our
suit
own
for
dark
it.
comedy.
We really
right
are
now.
living in a very dark comedy.
Yeah, but it's a dark comedy western. But I love this film.
So do I.
I think I can't believe it got really good reviews from critics.
It did.
But it's what you would say is a box office bomb.
Box office bomb by $25 million.
I don't like using that term lightly. I don't
Yeah.
just throw it around for anything. But on Cats, I'll go ahead and give that the box office bomb.
Of course.
But yeah, this one, but it had a pretty expensive budget, especially for a Western, $38 million. It was a joint production between American and a French production companies. The director is Jacques Audiard. Is that how you'd say that? But
Yes.
a French director, and they
He's been working since the 70s too, man. He was writing screenplays back in
and
like
this is
77.
his first American film,
Yep.
probably his last.
Probably his last too, with how bad it did in the box office.
Yeah, and it's set in Oregon, our
is.
backyard. But
I know they were bringing up cities like Jacksonville and Oregon City, and I'm like, hey,
well, Sisters, Oregon is a town, and I thought, is this a true story? Not even related.
not at all.
Sisters, Oregon is named after a range, the Sisters Mountain Range right there.
Oh, okay.
So, but I did have to go through some research to find that out.
Yeah.
So I did my homework on this one.
You know what? You always do.
But yeah, but it wasn't filmed in America at all. And it takes place 100%. San Francisco is filmed in France, Spain, and I think Italy also. Gives off a very American tone.
It does.
But I'm guessing that's probably why it was so damn expensive. Was they had
Well,
to
because
build
nothing else would have been
they had to build
expensive
these,
about it.
They had to build these sets out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they had to film in Spain for the forest scenes because the forest in Spain looks a lot like the forest in the Pacific Northwest.
Yep.
But I mean, you could have filmed this literally all in Oregon.
Yeah, you could have.
For a small,
For
I
a
mean,
very
sucks,
fraction of the
sucks
price.
for Oregon filmmakers. In production companies, they're like, yeah, I mean, we have an entire.
Would have
state.
been nice to
We
get
have
an audition
literally
for this.
the state of Oregon right here.
Yeah, we do.
Willing to be filmed in, and they
Well,
said, no, we're
and
taking
we've,
it.
we've got a lot of subsidies here in Oregon where like you can make a movie real cheap.
Well,
here.
states always want people to come in and make because it brings money in.
It does. Brings in revenue.
Not for these guys. They said we're taking it French. This is too high class.
Sorry.
Film. But yeah, I think this film it's very funny and it's shot very well and it's different for a Western. Definitely, it's not
Very
the
different.
traditional Western
No, it's
at all. But it's very funny and very good written though. A lot of good.
It's funny in a
characters.
very dry way where you never find yourself laughing out loud necessarily.
I did at some parts just because of the ridiculousness of it. Just like, oh yeah. I mean,
well, the spider scene's funny in one where
the horse on fire. I always laugh
horse
at
on
this.
fire. Yeah. How did they do that? That was one thing.
CGI.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That fire looked good though. It looked good.
It
for
might have been a
CGI.
real horse, but it's probably a fake. Because there was some things in there that were definitely CGI. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the way it's shot, and I'm upset that this movie did not do better. It
as
has
am I.
Rutger Hauer, his last film. You might know him from Blade Runner,
Yes,
the bad guy. Has
do.
0 words in this, and ironically plays a dead man.
he does.
Unfortunately, because he went on to die before this film was even released. That's why I say don't play dead men in movies.
Don't do it.
Don't ever do it.
Don't do
And
it.
don't make it your last role ever, because that's what people are going to
Being
remember you
dead.
for. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, should we dive into it?
Yeah, let's jump into this.
Again, we were big fans of this film.
We were very big fans.
So it's set in the American West, 1851, and what a year to be an American in
Yes.
1851s. You could shit in a bucket, and that's about as much technology advanced as we got at that point.
And that's if you wanted to shit in a bucket. If your preference is outside, that's probably what majority of people were doing anyway.
Oh yeah, you were high class if you had a
Well,
bucket.
this was a crazy time too. This is a little bit before the Civil War, about 15 years before the Civil War.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of the Oregon Trail and everything, and all new exploration.
Heyday of the American
West
West.
Coast. Yes.
1850s to late 1800s. That's the heyday of the American West, in my opinion.
Well, you talk about the 49ers, 1849, mining gold out in San Francisco. So they're only 2 years behind.
Oh yeah, well that's what the movie's all about. Is the gold rush.
The gold rush.
1851. Brothers Eli and Charlie Sister. Eli is John C. Reilly's character,
Yep.
and Charlie is Joaquin Phoenix. And characters these guys are. They're gunfighters and assassins, and they've been hired by the wealthy businessman known as the Commodore. And what an awesome name for a bad guy in the West.
The Commodore.
That's a good fucking
Very
name.
gangster.
You never even got
You got to be scared of the Commodore.
You don't even got to meet that guy to be scared of him. You don't give yourself the name the Commodore, and you haven't killed many, many men. But he tasks them to go and kill a man named Herman Warm. And the opening scene is they're killing other people, and they're not the typical heroes of the West.
No, they are not.
They're kind of morons.
And they're kind of like hitmen in a sense.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're assassins.
Yeah,
for sure. But they're kind of there's great chemistry between Joaquin and John C. Reilly as brothers.
Really good.
You can tell that it's that kind of thing where they hate each other, but they love each other.
Yeah, of course.
And they're always like at each other's throats. But again, not the smartest men. They're killers. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
But
and they're damn good at it too, because they have gotten out of some sticky situations.
Yeah, but I love the opening scene. It's it sets the tone right off the bat because it's different because it's a gunfight, but it's all shot in the dark. You can't see anything. But they end up going in and killing these people, and somehow the barn ends up going on fire. They burn 8 horses.
Yeah, alive, which was really sad. But Eli tried to save him. John C. Reilly's character tried to save him. And Joaquin Phoenix.
But there's a great shot of this horse running on fire that it always kills me.
Across the field.
Because they just run out and they're going, what the hell? And they just see this horse on fire.
Poor horse.
But again, the good killers, though.
Yeah.
And you could see Eli was upset about the horses. He wanted to go in and save him.
Which shows right off the bat that Eli is the softer, more into his feelings than Charlie.
He's the older brother, and you can tell he's kind of probably thinking he's at the end of being on the run.
Yes.
He's like 40s in this, but that's an Old West 80.
Yeah, if you're lucky to make it to your mid 40s in 1851.
So that's the whole sense. Eli's like, I know I'm done with this.
I'm over this.
Yeah, for sure. To be honest, he might have been 25 in this, and he just looked 50 because that's what the Old West did.
That's normally how it works.
A 25 Old West is about 58.
I think Alexander the Great was like 17 when he died. I mean, our age, it's crazy.
But so they've been hired by the Commodore, and the Commodore has also hired John Morris, played by the lovable.
It's John Maurice.
Yes.
Which irritated the hell out of me this whole movie because it was John Morris. I always watch movies with subtitles.
Yeah.
And it was John Maurice.
Yeah,
and they kept saying it over and over
again. But it's
again.
not even spelled like you would spell Maurice.
No, it's Morris.
It's spelled like some dipshit in the Old West didn't know how to spell his last name, and he threw John Morris on there. Yeah,
he definitely
Maurice.
did.
He's a private detective, though.
Yes.
And he's also been hired by the Commodore to find and track Herman Warm down. And his job is just to track him down because I'm guessing the sisters brothers
we're going to do the dirty work of torturing them.
But they're so dumb they could never be hired to track someone down.
Of course not.
No. All they can do is literally they're just a trigger.
Well, and Charlie's an alcoholic on top of that. He's got a severe drinking. Yeah, he's got a severe drinking problem. He's just on the ropes every day, which we find out why.
He's got daddy issues.
Daddy issues.
Everyone in the Old West had daddy issues. But
real abusive piece of shit.
Oh yeah, and it's the height of the gold rush.
Yes,
right in California, and Worm is traveling by wagon to California, and that's where he meets John Morris.
Yep,
who has again been hired to take Worm and give him over to the Sisters Brothers to get tortured and then killed.
And there were some really good scenes too, because he talks to John Maurice or Morris, whatever.
Morris,
he goes, something interesting about you. He goes, most people when they say hi, they smile while they say it, but as soon as you turn your back, they don't smile anymore. But with you, you continue to smile.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of sweet little cute scenes like that in this.
Before you realize who John Morris is.
Oh, yeah, but there's a lot of scenes like that I don't know, they make it like seem the best of the West. If you wanted to be in an Old West movie, this seems like the movie to be in it. Because it's not all bad, but they're just having a good time, it seems like. But yeah, so he's been hired to take him, and Worm ends up finding out what Maurice's real intentions are. He finds handcuffs. He confronts Maurice, but Worm gets knocked out almost immediately.
Funny scene.
Because I
saw that coming. Yeah. He was like, "Oh, let me see your hands." He's like, "Oh, these hands?" Hits him over the head with the cuffs. I'm like, "Come on, dude. Yeah. Come on, Worm, you chemist."
But Worm's a good guy. He's
Yes.
a little different for the West.
Well, and he's like a scientist, and he
not
has
just a
this
scientist, but he wants to make a utopia.
utopia. Yeah, I was about to bring that up.
And
but
where would you go and make your utopia? If you could go anywhere in the world, where's the best place to go?
definitely not Oregon.
No, it's Dallas.
Oh,
Dallas, Texas.
Because if we know one thing about Dallas, Texas, everyone is open to
people
new
are
ideas.
super cool. super cool.
They're great.
And super
You're not gonna get
welcoming
shot.
to outsiders. We all know
They love a good outsider.
a different, just a different folk. Just
Different
anyone.
idea, different opinion.
Yes, that's one thing they love is other people's opinions. And they'll listen to you. They'll talk to you.
They will. And
very
they'll resolve
understanding. Very
without any violence, no gunshots, nothing.
but that is what Worm's idea of a utopia. He says Dallas is the place to go, man.
It is.
I mean, I got a good feeling about Texas. They're gonna love me there. And Maurice eventually he gets convinced.
He does.
He says, "Fuck yeah, let's go to Dallas." Because he kind of guilts them. Because Worm says, "Look, they're gonna torture me. They're gonna kill me."
When this is when he's chained up to the
Yeah.
chair. And Maurice brings that up too. He goes, "It's fascinating. The last thing Worm said was this planet is an abomination." And he stared out the window until the sun rose. the
Very
next
nice,
morning.
very good scene. It's nice because it's followed by Morris, Jake Gyllenhaal's character. He's constantly writing in this little journal, and he's kind of like the Old West philosopher. You know,
Yes.
every like 1 in 200 Old West guys had a journal, and
Oh,
they just
God.
said the most
And
profound things.
Yes, and he uses big words all
Yeah,
the time.
Life on the plains.
Words you've never heard before.
Yeah, well, he's a very smart.
He's a
private detective.
well-spoken,
Yeah.
well-read individual.
But yeah, so that kind of convinces him. He thinks you're right. You know, he thinks this world is kind of shitty.
To pause real quick, Jake Gyllenhaal, man, it feels he is one of those actors where he's completely different in every movie.
He's
completely
good.
different.
He's awesome. Yeah.
In this movie, it's like I don't even watch Jake Gyllenhaal, even though I know it's him. Like even his mannerisms, even his body language, man, everything is different every
He's
role.
good.
I'm like,
Oh, yeah.
how do you come up with that many characters in your head? He is profound. He's one of the greatest actors of all time. Every time Jake Gyllenhaal's on the screen, every time we review a movie of him, I hold him up in such high praise.
Oh yeah, him and Joaquin Phoenix
Yes.
both. Joaquin, yeah, and to have them both in the same movie, crazy.
Yeah. You know what? John C. Reilly doesn't. I mean, he does, but he doesn't get his respect because he's a great actor too.
Oh yeah, he
And,
gets
like-
his respect. He's an Oscar nominee, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's been in John C. Reilly's been in so many good dramas. And I
Oh,
mean,
yeah,
a
dude.
lot of
He
people
does it
remember
all.
for his comedy, but he was doing dramas way before he was doing comedies. I mean, we know him from Gangs of New York.
We do.
He's awesome in
Yep.
it. Yeah, he's done in so many. The Perfect Storm. He's been in a million different things. But very funny and kind of funny because Jake Gyllenhaal plays Johnny Cash,
Mhm.
and John C. Reilly plays Dewey Cox, a parody of Johnny Cash. So they kind of both have that history together. So so Worm and Maurice end up, they say, all right, we're gonna do this together, because Worm ends up kind of hinting to him that he's going to San Francisco without any gear.
Mhm.
He's a prospector.
Yeah,
but
he's
he has no gear.
Yeah,
What
he's
the
like,
fuck?
what are you going to do? Pick it up when you're there?
Yeah.
He goes, you got to buy the gear first. He goes, I have a different method, a different idea.
Chemistry, the magic of science. And at this
They
point,
thought it
it's
was
witchcraft.
witchcraft.
It's a witchcraft, yeah. They're thinking, this is horseshit. You're going to put chemicals in the water, it's going to turn color? Yeah. Maybe in one of your sci-fi fiction books, but not,
Maybe,
yeah,
but not here, pal.
Yeah, keep that
We
where
won't
you
tolerate
keep-
that.
And in Texas, they're not going to enjoy that. They're still fighting science there.
Yeah, they'll burn you at the stake, pal.
They're still not big fans of what's going on in the world. So be warned. So they're going to head to San Francisco on their own, though.
They are.
But now Maurice, he's on the run. He's on the run from the Sisters Brothers and the Commodore.
Yes.
So he leaves them a note, says some bullshit, and
He lies to him. He said that Worm left town about 4 days
Yep.
ago and that he was going to try to pursue him.
yep. But they're not buying that shit.
Of course not.
And things have not been going well. That's what kind of the whole story is like it's a constant shit going wrong, which is hilarious.
So they're traveling, and John C. Reilly falls asleep. A spider, which is a great scene, crawls into his mouth.
Yeah. Calls
And-
his stomach. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure.
yeah, and he swallows the giant spider. The next morning, he wakes up. A bear had attacked
His bear, just
Yeah.
his bear, or just his horse, and that's the horse he didn't even want. his horses got burned, remember, in the
Yep.
stable, and they give him some shitty mule, but they gave his brother Charlie some like really nice, and he already didn't want that fucking
Right.
horse.
Yep.
But the bear attacked, and it just attacked his fucking.
And he's sick to
his
the
horse.
bone. Eventually, he ends up puking.
I
And
love the
this
scene. I
was
love
great.
the dream scene. That scene where he gets bit by the spider and he's
dreaming
thinking
of
about
his
dad,
father
and he's
chopping
chopping
up
limbs
body
or
parts.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it meant, but it looked
Very disturbing.
very good. It was shot very cool. And just a
was.
silhouette or whatever. I like that a lot.
He wakes up and he pukes, and there's little spiders crawling out of his puke. And he kind of looks at it like, what
Well,
the
this
hell?
is not. He wakes. That's the first night. Remember, they wake up and we gotta go, and his whole face is
It's
swollen.
just swollen. Even his neck's swollen.
He's like, can you
everything.
ride? And he's frozen. That's shaking. I mean,
He's like, I'm freezing.
he's got a fever or whatever. But then the next day, America's Day, it's the middle of the rainstorm in the camp, and then the next day he wakes up and the bear came, and but he pukes. You're right, and he pukes a nest of spiders and blood.
Yeah, which
I
is
don't-
pretty gross.
It was horrible. Yeah, that's Old West though. You're
That's
roughing
not
it.
a good day, man.
You're
That's
roughing
not
it.
a good day.
Yeah, a lot of shit goes wrong to poor Eli, and he's like the nicest
Yeah,
one.
he's the nicest
but
one.
nothing happens to Joaquin Phoenix.
He's just
until the
drunk
end.
as a skunk every day. Just
Yeah.
living life.
And his brother is just kind of like going around amending everything he does.
And all his brother wants to do is just retire. He just wants to be done with his life. But Joaquin, he's just younger and more energetic and more rambunctious, I suppose.
Oh yeah. He wants out of it. Yeah. Well, his brother's just a hothead, and
And that's actually why they got into this craft to begin with, because he wanted to protect his brother.
exactly, yeah. So again, they're being plagued by misfortune. Grizzly attack, spider attack, you fucking name it. Charlie's being drunk every goddamn day. He's got to drag his ass around. He can barely ride a horse. He actually can. He falls down at one point.
He does,
Throws up all over the place. He throws up quite a bit in this movie.
which is a
Always
little
funny.
check mark
It's
as to when that's when you're drunk enough.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got to quit drinking.
It's a great goof for sure, but yeah, Eli almost dies from the snake, and they discover Maurice's betrayal in Jacksonville.
Yes, they
and
do.
they
end up going
follow
to,
the pair to
yeah.
Mayfield.
Mrs. Mayfield.
Mayfield's a great town. It's a great fucking.
It's a
Old
great
West
town named after Miss Mayfield.
Not Mr. Mayfield. To
Miss
popular,
Mayfield.
yeah. Against popular belief, it's Miss Mayfield, and what a woman she is. A lot of women.
She's a lot of women.
lot of
women.
A lot of women. Yeah, but she denies ever seeing Warman Morris. They ask her, but they think she's bullshitting.
Yeah. And during that time, Eli goes up with a prostitute, right? The one he's kind of been eyeing.
And
this
it never
scene-
gets into why the whole cloth thing.
No, but it's my favorite scene in the
Yeah,
whole movie.
it's-
It's my favorite scene. It's so funny. This was the one scene where
Yeah,
I
I
would
laughed.
laugh out loud.
I definitely laughed
Yeah.
out loud. There's a bunch of scenes I laughed, but this scene is so. It is like it feels like John C. Reilly maybe wrote this scene. It feels like they're improvising. It's so
It does. 'Cause
funny.
He's like, no. He goes, mean it when you say it.
Because he's got this weird kind of fetish where I'm guessing a lady gave him this red cloth and it means a lot to him. So anytime he's got to have sex with a hooker or anything, they got to pretend to be this lady.
Yep.
So he's got to go through this process,
whole process.
of having them give him this red scarf and pretending it's from them.
Before he goes, and then, can I steal a kiss? No, you say, can I steal a kiss?
I put a little drop of my perfume on that.
Perfume
Oh,
on
that's
it.
nice.
I love that part. He's like, oh, that's really good. Yeah. He goes, keep that.
He's like, keep it going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can I still kiss? Yeah. No, you got to say that to me.
And then all of a sudden it gets really dark because she starts to kind of like be extremely upset, and he goes, "Hey, what's wrong? Was I mean?"
yeah.
And she's like, "No, you're nice. You're too nice."
And
She
then
goes, "You got to stop."
Then she gets out of there.
She gets out of there because she's
before
used to
she
be treated
leaves-
very roughly.
But before she leaves, she tells Eli, they gots to go.
Because Miss Mayfield is up to something.
Well, Miss
She goes,
Mayfield's,
"Don't
yeah, she's going to
trust
kill
her."
him, yeah.
Yeah. She warns him of a plot that's being devised.
Unfortunately,
against the sisters' brothers.
Charlie's sister is about 30 drinks deep.
Yeah, about 30. Yeah, too many. Way
Few
too many.
hookers
He's-
deep.
Yeah,
Couple
way too
hookers
drunk.
deep. So Eli's got to go corral him and get him out of there.
And he doesn't have much time either because her little raccoon boys are on the prowl.
Yeah, this is the Davy Crockett gang, I
It is the
guess. They
Davy
got a
Crockett
lot of
gang.
coonskin hats, which I love.
Too many.
Absolutely
They might have a
love it.
little fascination with killing coons for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
Are they trapsmen or are they killers?
I think they're
I mean,
just
'cause
specifically raccoon killers.
They love the raccoon fashion.
do.
It was very popular back then.
prominent in
I'm a
1851.
big fan also. Keeps your head warm.
It does.
You get to
You
eat
get a
raccoon
cool little
meat.
tail
Yeah, you
hat,
get to eat the
yeah.
meat too.
Right.
Everyone notices that you're probably part of the coonskin
gang.
gang. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. But these are real mountain men.
Yeah, they are.
But they're gunslingers. And while Charlie and Eli are about to get away, they are confronted by these gunslingers, hired by Miss Mayfield to kill these sons of bitches. But they're straight up, they're cold killers. They pretend, I mean, he's drunk.
Oh, yeah. Charlie's so drunk at this point, but he's
it's
not drunk enough to shoot a gun.
Perfect drunk enough.
Yes.
First he throws up. That just great distractor.
Great one. Because
Everyone's looking at that like, that guy can't. He's obviously going to
he's
shoot
good.
me.
We just got to deal with this one person. That's it. We just got to deal with Eli.
But no, they get extremely lucky. Very lucky.
That they
Like,
do.
they have some kind of gift. But I think that's all the West was. If you're well known in the real West, I think it's like 90% luck. Like Billy the Kid and stuff. I mean, those people getting so many gunfights. That's got to be luck at some point.
It is luck.
Those bullets are just straying, just missing. I mean, but
Well, and it wasn't as accurate. I mean, obviously, this is no brainer, but it wasn't as accurate. Those
guns
revolvers were
horribly
awful.
inaccurate.
Yes.
The only movie that I've seen accurately portray how inaccurate those guns were the assassination of Jesse James, the
Which
Brad
we,
Pitt.
yeah.
Those the gunfights in that scene or in that movie, they're horrible fights, but they're really realistic. But no one, it's like a room like this, but they're shooting and the bullets are just
Going everywhere. Yeah.
no one's getting shot. Worst case scenario, most of the time you got shot in the leg or the arm or something. But back then they had
That'd
to take
kill
the
you.
arm.
Yeah, that would kill you back then.
There's no such thing as a flesh wound.
Never a flesh wound.
You get a paper cut, the arm's got to go. Infection, it's gonna. I mean, there's
That's their
shit
first
everywhere.
call.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's because the fucking doctors half the time were also butchers.
They were butchers.
It overlined in a way that they were.
They went to what they knew, which was taking an arm, taking a limb, you know.
So
They defeat these raccoon guys, especially eventually.
oh yeah, they get
in the
that
barn,
brand, yeah, because he throws up. They don't know about it, but yeah, they defeat him and then they go back in because they don't got to run away. They just killed all the
Of
guys.
course not.
They go back into Miss Mayfield, beat the shit out of her, rough her up.
I love this scene.
It is a
too.
really good scene. It's a brutal scene.
It is.
But they end up murdering her and taking all her money.
That was my favorite part, though. Right before they murder her, they're like, "We need you to open the safe." She goes, "I'm not doing that."
Yeah,
And the next scene is her laying in a
good
pool of
editing.
blood
Yeah.
with the safe open, them grabbing all the
It's
stuff.
good editing.
It's
yeah.
perfect.
And then they walk outside, and the entire
Town is out there.
Mayfield is there waiting for an explanation. And Charlie goes, "Maybe you should talk to him," and he just leaves.
Yeah. He's like, maybe you're good.
And Eli, not being the public speaker that most people are, he butchers the delivery of this.
What does he say? Your town. Oh, you can get a new name for your town now.
Well, that's what Charlie says at the very end. But Eli basically just says, "Yeah, Miss Mayfield's dead. We got to kill her. You got to deal with it." And Charlie's like, "That's not
the way to do it, man. It's not what I was talking about. You could have done better than that."
And then on their way out of the town, he goes, "Well, now you can name the town something different." one loud last jab. So they go to San Francisco, right?
Yep.
And it's awesome. I love the way they did San Francisco. It looks fucking awesome. Really well done. The set and
A
everything.
lot of people.
Yeah, a lot of
It
people, a lot
looked
of
like
buildings.
San Francisco, you know. I mean, early San Francisco.
And their reaction is great because they've never been in a town this big, and they're
They're like, we could kill anyone we want, and no one would know. I love that line.
goes, "That's a hotel. We got to stay there." Yeah.
They're going through their hotel. They got a toilet there. They got a bathtub.
Toilet is nice. Running
Very nice.
water and electricity.
Mhm.
1851. That's San Fran.
That's ahead of its time, man.
They've always been
Yeah.
pretty, yeah, crazy. And but they go and they talk to someone about Maurice and Warm.
Yep.
They find out. Well, actually, Eli does some quick thinking. He realizes that the guy's under the same name he was using in the last town. Figures that out, and the guy tells him, "Yeah, they stayed here," and tells him where they're going. Pretty good deal.
It is.
But this is a 4-star hotel, and these are 2-star Cowboys at best.
So they're going to enjoy their time here.
They're enjoying
At least a day
and
that
they're
they
gonna
paid
make
for.
a scene.
They will,
They're
of course.
gonna
They
make
always
a
make a
scene.
scene. And at dinner, they get in a little argument, and the candle and shit goes flying.
It's cool, yeah. It's a good scene. Charlie slaps Eli.
He does.
Eli distinctively reaches for his gun. Eli's a little jumpy in this. When he goes to sleep, he always puts his hand on his gun.
Which is dangerous. You know, you could accidentally pull the trigger and
But
you
I
sleep.
figured that was like what everyone went to bed with.
I guarantee it.
Like you tuck them in, put their gun next to their bed, and make sure they're by their hand on it.
It's just an extra step.
Yeah, you
that
get
they
your
did
pillow,
back
you
then.
got your gun. Pillow, gun, blanket. Go to bed, I'm good. But yeah, so he's a little jumpy, but this is a big scene because you could tell that they've never actually like fought in public is the sense
No,
I've gotten.
yes.
They've fought before, never in public.
Well, it's in public too. That was the biggest thing that Eli was upset about.
Well, and
Because
Charlie's
you can't
drunk.
strike me in public.
And he's drunk.
yeah,
as
he's always
usual.
drunk
Yeah.
though. He's drunk every time, every day, and that's what Eli eventually tells him.
Well, it's the arguments before that. It's started by Eli telling Charlie he wants out. That they have enough money
Yeah,
now. That
he
they,
did not like that.
That he says we don't even need to go after Warm anymore. We have enough money. We can go back and open a store.
A store? Come on, no one wants to do
Charlie
that.
fucking hates that. What are you gonna run a
Hates
store
that
for the
idea.
rest of your life? What are you gonna live to be 60?
Get out of here.
What do you have a bunch of kids or something? No, you got to die on the trail.
That's
my
not the
guy.
outlaw's life.
Never. And yeah, so they have a bit of a fight. It's all right because they get back into the good graces of each other
They do.
because Charlie
yeah.
lets
Eli slap him back.
oh my god, what a fucking
It was a hell of a slap.
This is like those Russian slap contests you see on the
Those are
YouTube.
brutal.
This is the slap. He
Insane.
rocked his world with this slap.
Absolutely.
And I love the scream he gives out when he slaps him. And you can tell
He's like-
he's kind of a sissy.
I think I lost my hearing.
He goes, "What are you doing? I slapped you. I didn't knock you to the ground." But the whole time he's pretending that he didn't remember the slap because he was drunk. That's a very typical alcoholic move
yeah.
to go
Oh,
do.
I don't remember.
You can't be blamed if you don't remember.
It
Something.
is true. Yep, you
You,
can't be blamed for
you
anything.
legally didn't do it if you can't remember it the next day.
Very true. I think that is a policy we just got to put in place
Absolutely.
all the time.
Absolutely,
But if you don't remember it, it didn't happen.
But again, they end up finding out where Warm and them are held up at. It's at a site in just in the woods somewhere at a lake. It's I don't even know what it's called. It's a site where you go and you find gold and shit, right? So they go, they find them, but they kind of get ambushed.
They do. By them.
Warm
and Maurice.
And Maurice are waiting for him.
They are.
They don't get very far. They tie him up. But then Warm and Maurice are attacked by more of the fucking
the raccoon
coonskin
yeah,
boys.
the coonskin boys. Oh man.
which is a good scene. This one is a good shootout because the guys
is.
they come, they're like far away on the river and they
Like,
ask
hey,
him
you
some
guys got
bullshit.
any, they're like, you got anything for sale? Like, no, we don't have anything for sale.
Yeah, and the guy, but Jake Gyllenhaal being the genius he is,
Right.
being the Western detective, he's like, no, these guys aren't selling shit.
No.
And they're, but we're selling something, lead. And they end up opening fire on
They
these,
do.
on the coonskin
Well,
boys.
and Maurice and what's his name? Gosh, why?
Warm.
Jeez. They weren't originally going to let them out, but they were overwhelmed. They were outgunned and outmanned, and they had to let the sisters brothers.
You gotta
free
let the
from their shackles.
Sisters Brothers, and we didn't even talk about the name is hilarious. The
It is. The
Sisters
Sisters
Brothers.
Brothers.
And everyone they talk to, they go, "What? What's that?" And he goes, "It's sisters, spelled like sisters."
Yes.
It's so stupid. But yeah, they're the Sisters Brothers. So they end up letting out the sisters, and they end up just going off again. These
They
guys
do.
are like Western Terminators.
Mhm.
They just take off for the forest, and you just hear gunshots from there and screams. But it's a crazy scene because Jake Gyllenhaal character Maurice almost gets shot
Yes, he does.
from because you don't know the whole time you're watching. You don't know. You think Eli or Charlie, he's fucking nuts. You think after he kills the raccoon boys, he's gonna turn on Jake Gyllenhaal because he's got to kill what's his name. But there's old West Code, and they're pretty good to their word, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, at this point, not too many.
Back then, a word is all you
shit-dick
had.
liars.
Yeah. But so they end up being cool about it. They end up killing all of Mayfield, even though Mayfield was dead.
Is
These
dead,
guys
and
didn't
they tried
know.
to warn him. They're like, "Hey, Mayfield's dead. You really shouldn't be doing
But
this."
who's gonna
'cause you're not
believe
gonna
that
get paid."
bullshit? You tell me anything at that point. But yeah, so they go. They kind of talk to each other again at the start. They don't like each other. They hate each other. Very different people. Jake Gyllenhaal, Maurice. He's kind of he's smart. They think he's pretentious. The Sisters Brothers.
Pretentious asshole is what
Yeah.
they called him. Yeah,
The Sisters Brothers.
arrogant too.
Yeah, they're probably the opposite, but they end up saying, "Hey, we'll split this gold with you," because this guy's got the super system going on, the fucking chemical. He said, "If you guys want, let him live. We'll split the gold with you. Keep it good." You don't got to go back to the old fucking Commodore.
No, you don't.
You get enough money, then you got to go kill
You're
the
good
Commodore.
for the rest of your life. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then you gotta, because he will keep sending men after
Yeah,
you.
there's
That is one
nothing
thing
that
we've
the-
learned
yeah.
about the Commodore is he'll send men upon men upon men. A bounty will be put on your head until you are dead.
Yeah. And Worm tells them about, what they plans to do in Dallas, and they think it's bullshit.
They do.
But Maurice really believes in that shit. He really thought he was going to go to Dallas and there was going to be a utopia.
He naive in his thoughts.
Yeah. But this is a great scene. I love the scene where they where at the start, it's like Gyllenhaal, he's up there like scouting while they're all supposed to be sleeping, but they're all awake. They start doing a little Western bonding action on the trail, getting drunk. It's a cool scene. They wake up the next morning, they got their toes in the water. It's awesome. They end up damming up the river.
They do. Try to get the water to stop.
Yeah, and Eli ends up like kind of talking to Maurice, and they talk about their dad and everything. Again, because Worm is very smart, he's kind of like a
And
therapist.
he's easy to talk to. Is
Very
what
easy.
they're saying.
Yeah, basically just because he listened.
Right.
I mean, he's probably the only person that ever listened to their problems before. But
I doubt the brothers ever listened to each other.
yeah, I doubt it. Well, remember at one point, Eli pretends that he's crying and
just to screw with his brother.
And then he calls her, "What is it? What are you gonna kiss me?" Remember when he tries to? He does the kissing noises. Yeah, it's hilarious. But yeah, and he talks about that Charlie had to kill their dad.
Mm-hmm. And that Eli feels guilty about it because he was the older brother and he should have been the one to do it. And now because Charlie killed him, that's a lot of the reason why he's erratic and a hothead is because he's had to deal with that of killing his father.
Yeah, and once you kill someone, you got your dad, you got your brother after you got everyone. That's Old West vengeance.
Oh yeah, the vengeance was rampant.
But yeah, that's kind of like a rite of passage. The older brother always kills the dad. I mean, you don't let the young. Yeah, you don't
it's just
skip
what
it.
you do back in the Western days, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's you kind of skipped up there, but Eli was the one, and yeah, like you said, Charlie was the one who killed her dad, and
Yes.
Eli was the one that always lived with that because you could tell. I mean, Charlie drinks in that because he had to kill his dad.
Yep.
It's a very
And
violent thing to
he
do.
actually becomes his father as far as being an alcoholic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I love, again, there's a great dialogue throughout the entire movie.
There is.
But there's one scene where he's like, we got our dad's, what does he say? Our dad's crazy mind in us, don't you? He goes, Charlie, our dad was an alcoholic. That's all he was. He wasn't crazy. He was just a fucking dickhead alcoholic. But, yeah, so they go and they build a little dam, and he puts the chemical in the water.
Yep.
And it works.
It does work. We start to see gold pebbles glowing in the water.
Here's the thing about the chemical, though.
It burns your
It's
skin.
basically acid.
Yes.
So you can go in the water for about 37 seconds, and then your skin starts melting.
And it starts burning like very, very severely. That they have to, and Warm actually tells them that you got to get out of the water and rinse off. You got to rinse off with this boiling hot water to get
Remember,
this
Worm's
off
got burns from the last time he did it.
from the first
what-
time he did
I
it.
mean,
Yep.
is it even worth it? What are you doing this 3 times, and now you got to fucking chop off all your limbs?
Yeah.
How much
Pretty
more
much. I mean, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, and even gold is, I mean, it's big money back then, but it's like, you gotta
How much of it are you really getting in one go?
Yeah.
And is it worth it?
It is worth it.
Yeah.
I
would almost rather
from the scene I saw, not
not worth it. No.
But yeah, because they get excited, they actually see the gold actually works, and it is a cool thing. And I thought this was really interesting because that is something that someone did invent back then. That's the true story. But very cool.
Well, in Warm, Maurice, and Eli all get out to rinse off, but we see Charlie, and he's kind of manic. He's
'Cause he's a
still
little
trying
stupid.
to. He is. He's still trying to get the
Simple.
gold because he can see it. And out of his excitement, he looks in the water. He starts to see that it's not glowing as much anymore, and he panics. And as the 3 come back in the water, he leaves to go rinse off. And as he does that, he goes and grabs more chemicals, brings it up to the ridge,
Yeah.
and this is the scene where it's like, oh my God, he spills the chemicals in
And they're all having such a great time.
They are. Yeah, they're
It's
making
so much
money. It's having a
fun.
good time.
It's so
They're
much fun.
friends. They're all genuinely friends.
They are. They actually like each other.
Yeah.
Even Charlie and Maurice, who were very at each other's throat at the very beginning, they ended up talking. It was him and it was Charlie and Maurice that kind of split off, ended up bonding together.
Yep.
Wyatt Warm and Eli ended up doing it too. Yeah, so it was really, really kind of nice.
Yeah.
You kind of think, hey, maybe all these guys are going to Dallas together.
It's gonna work out.
Dallas is gonna be super fucking cool. They're
Start
gonna start
a utopia
They're gonna
there.
start the Cowboys. It's gonna be
Yeah.
awesome. It's gonna be sweet. Not the case.
No.
Because this chemical, what you don't realize is it's the real chemical. It's like cyanide and sulfur or some shit. It's just two.
It's just
It's two
brutal.
things you don't want. You don't want at all.
No, you can't even have that touching you. I mean, that's
Even diluted in
death
water,
sentence.
it burns your skin. But to have it directly onto your skin, donezo.
almost instantaneous.
Not even that, but
death.
it's hilarious because while they're pouring this shit, they're just coughing up. Like, just coughing up. It must have been melting their lungs anyways.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
These guys might have not died that night.
But they would have died in a week or 2
I mean,
weeks.
it probably would have been 5 years, but they would have all gotten cancer.
Yeah, for sure.
So, Charlie, he ends up being an idiot because but they already had a ton of gold.
They did. They had plenty, but it's
Greedy.
greed.
It's great.
It's always greed, and there's
It's
the
always
life
greed.
lesson, folks.
There it
of this
is.
film. Take away one thing from this movie, it's greed.
But, he ends up getting the chemical on his arm. They all try to stop him. Fucking Maurice goes under the water, like at the waterfall
Yep.
of the chemicals. He goes under and doesn't come up.
He doesn't come up, and then Warm goes in to dive in for him as well.
Because they're literally best friends. now.
Yes.
Warm has been screwed his entire way. He's been making it, trying to go out west, and he's been robbed by everyone. he says.
Everyone. And
That
that's
was
why
the
he
Old
was
West.
on Maurice, too, because he saw something in Maurice, too.
Exactly, and he was immediately attracted to him. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he walked up to him. Yeah, and he knew this guy might not be the one guy that's going to rob me.
Yep.
You never know; he's going to get melted by acid.
Crazy.
You got to worry about everything in the Old West.
And Charlie-
Everything's out there to kill you.
Charlie's got to be better than that, man. You got to be smarter.
Yeah,
But he pours that chemical directly on his arm, which eats at his arm pretty much instantly. You can hear
he's
the
having
screams.
a rough time.
Yeah.
He's having a rough time. But the next morning, things
I
are
love,
bad.
But I love the shot in the morning. Before we see them, we see the water.
Yeah, and
it's
all the fish are
dead.
dead.
It's not just fish though. There's other animals there too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
the water's kind of like
yeah,
black.
poisoned. Yeah, it's poisoned. So like even the animals that went and drank things were dying.
Yes,
At
yeah.
the side of the river.
It probably killed a town a mile down the
It
stream.
did.
All that chemicals? Are you fucking kidding?
It definitely
Who knows
did.
the damage it did?
They didn't care
I
about
guarantee there's 400 people in a town wiped out because of that. I mean, that's where you get your drinking water.
Yes.
They didn't think about that.
that. No, they didn't.
Again,
There
a
were no
dark comedy.
filters back then. Yeah, much darker comedy if you
Yeah.
really think about it.
But yeah, the next town they're all fucked up. Or the next morning they're all fucked up.
Yes.
The only one that made it out was Eli, because Eli was out already washing off from the first time he was in it. So he wasn't in the water when fucking Charlie
Nope.
poured all of the shit in it.
Which is like probably 200 times what you should have poured in.
Because
there.
they were putting little buckets of
Little
it in the
buckets.
entire river.
Yes. And he just dumped the whole, like, what was it? Like a 15-gallon, 10-gallon
I
drum?
don't know. It was like
It was
like
big.
an old milk freaking thing.
Yeah,
I
but it
don't-
was a big one. Though.
Oh yeah,
It was tall.
It
was
had to been
huge.
20 gallons.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a ton. But so they're all messed up. They got Maurice out of the water, but he's really fucked
He's
up
just
to the
burnt to
point
hell.
where he doesn't want to live. He's got third-degree burns on 90% of his body.
Yeah,
if I
the
was a
whole,
doctor.
his whole body. Yeah, he went underwater, man. He's burned
And for a
everywhere.
long time, he went underwater. I don't know
And
if he
then-
got stuck in a fucking abyss or something, but
And Warm got it in his eye, so he's blind.
completely blind.
Completely blind.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like chlorine times 1,000.
Oh, God.
Yeah, and Maurice is talking, or not Maurice, but Eli is talking to Warm,
Yep.
because again, they bonded, they shared that moment.
And
But,
Charlie with Maurice.
yeah, the best Charlie can do for Maurice is give him his gun.
I love that. That's what Maurice says, help me.
Oh, yeah.
Help me. And Charlie knows exactly what he's talking about. And he loads up his gun.
Yeah,
and he
what
hands
else
it
could
to
he be
him.
talking
Yeah,
about?
no, I know. But I mean, help me. I don't know, in the moment. But Charlie hands him his gun.
Yeah.
And he lets him off himself.
I'm glad that Charlie didn't have to kill him. 'Cause
Yes.
that might have been one death that he might have been hard on. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was,
And that's what I was thinking too. I thought he was going to have to shoot him. I thought that's what, the first time I saw this, I thought that's what was going
Same,
to
I
take
thought it
place.
was going to be real tough for him to do.
And I was like,
but,
oh man, that's even going to make him go down a darker road
yeah.
because he knows he's responsible for it.
Yeah, if he survives whatever's about to happen. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's the way you got to go out on the Old West. If you got to do it, you don't want someone else to shoot you. You don't want someone to say they got the best of you. So
That
you
is
got to
true.
take your own life. That's
Especially when
It's
you know
brutal.
you're not going to survive.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You know, especially this guy who's like a convicted outlaw, you know, and Maurice, who's a man of the law. You don't want to go up to the pearly gates and have that guy have that story on you. So Eli, and Warm ends up passing as well.
Yes, natural
unfortunately.
causes.
Well, if being burned by chemicals is natural cause,
He died instantly the next day.
That's like saying Two-Face was killed by natural cause falling into a vat of
acid.
It's almost as unnatural as it gets.
It is. It's very unnatural.
But but Eli takes Charlie because Charlie's freaking out. As his brother's the only guy he's got left.
Yep.
He ends up taking him to the next town. They do the old amputee.
Oh, immediately. Doctor doesn't even look at it. He doesn't diagnose the issue. He goes, burn, chapping it off.
Doctor, I'm here for a cold. I'm like, I don't
know what
if you got something to saw off, I could do it, but I got nothing else for you. Yeah, the doctor immediately gets to work.
Yes, he does.
And it's a long process.
Gruesome scene.
It's a long process.
Painful, gruesome, and gross. And the arm, you can just see it's decaying.
Yeah, and about halfway through, you got to say, hey, just snap it off.
Yeah, just
Quit letting around. Snap
Come on,
that
man.
thing off already.
I think you're enjoying this too much, man.
You've been here for way
wrap this
too
up,
long.
man.
Are we paying you by the hour? Just snap this thing
Or by the job.
Yeah.
Like we're running out of cash.
Break it
funds,
off, man. It's over now.
God.
But it is a brutal scene.
It is.
Brutal. They give him the old saw chop, and those saws are never sharp.
They're never.
They just
They're
got
dull
done.
as hell.
They just got done chopping
four other
wood or
ones.
something.
And, yeah. And do you think they're washing that between patients? Not
Never.
a chance
No,
in
they're
hell.
putting the old whiskey on it, and then the guy's drinking the whiskey.
whiskey.
He's using it.
And then he's pouring it on the wound.
He's got to sanitize his insides before he starts going to work. Also, but the arm ends up coming off. But the Commodore's men, at this point, they have caught up
They have.
to the sisters.
And one of the doctor's helpers comes in and says, there are 3 men out there looking for you or asking about you. And Eli tries to get Charlie out of the hospital or whatever you want to call it, the house.
Yeah,
But
hospital.
not really. Roll eyes.
I think it was just the back of a of a store.
Of a butcher shop.
Yeah, of a butcher shop or yeah.
But Charlie says, no, I'm not going anywhere. So Eli very cleverly throws out his guns, but we see him put 2 of those revolvers in the back.
It's an awesome scene. This movie's it's very different from traditional westerns where it's like you almost never see the action.
The gunshots or the gun action.
Yeah, and these guys they're badasses for sure, but you never there's never a scene where you actually see them be badasses.
Yes.
You know, you just got to I really like that, but he goes out there.
I think the only scene that was nice for me was when they were in the barn where we could actually see them shooting and how fast they were too.
And even
The
then though,
actors,
it was
how
just
fast they
it was
were.
just like oh, you're talking about the barn and Mayfields. Yeah. And even then you didn't even see much of that
No,
either.
you
Yeah.
didn't. But what you did see, I was like, oh, I get why they're gunslingers. They're fast.
Well, even at the very start, when it's in the dark, you see them shooting very fast,
Yeah.
but it's just it's just
You
dark.
don't see much.
You don't see anything. Yeah. But yeah, so so he ends up going out, and you don't see the fight, but it's really well shot because you just hear gunshots or whatever, and that kind of wakes Charlie up also. But yeah, he ends up getting the best of the Commodore's men, ends up killing all of them, and yeah.
And then he asks the guy, the last one that was dead, crawling away, as most Westerns do. And he goes, is there anyone behind you guys? And the guy just laughs in his face, and that's when he shoots him.
Yeah, they shoot. They're not much for letting guys go and live. No. Well, because they're just going to come right back after you. They're going to get an arm chopped off, and they're going to get right back on that saddle. It's the only thing you got to do. But so they know they got to go, and they got to take the Commodore out.
They got to go themselves. Instead of running away, they run towards their problem.
Well, this was Charlie's idea the whole time. Remember, he said earlier he was going to end up killing the Commodore.
And eventually you have to, because he'll just keep sending more and more men.
He's going to keep telling you to do more until you're dead. And then you got to get a new partner or whatever.
Yep.
But they said they got to go. They got to arrive. They got to go to Oregon City and beat this guy. Yep. Oregon City, we know that place.
We know that place. Not too far from here, actually. About 45 minutes an hour.
Not bad. But yeah, so they do that, and they go, and it's been kind of a journey at this point because
hell of a journey.
Charlie's waking up with no arm, so that's kind of a learning experience.
Yeah. He's trying to load guns, and it shows a good montage, too, of, like, them fighting off these bounty guys trying to kill them.
Yeah, one night, they just keep getting sent. So, again, it just more to the point, like, they got to go kill this guy.
Yep, they don't have a choice.
Yeah, so, but again, Charlie is no help.
None.
With the gunfighting, because he can't shoot. He's got his right arm.
All he can do is, like, try to reload the revolver with one hand.
Yep.
And Eli's still sticking with him. You got to, through thick and thin, this Eli, man, he loves his brother. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's all they got. They only got each other, so, you might as well die with each other. So they go to Oregon City. They're gearing up. They're loading up. They're figuring out how Eli's going to be able to shoot a gun.
And you kind of
think giving him a bunch of guns so he doesn't have to reload. Yeah.
And you kind of think this whole thing
that they did this,
is the big climactic moment of when they're going to go and kill the Commodore, right?
Yep.
And what happens? It's
they
great.
Go, and
it's hilarious.
They go, and there's some guy waiting outside, and he's like, sign your name. And they're like, what?
Okay.
And they go in there, and the fucking Commodore, he's dead. He's probably been dead. Yeah. He's dead, and they're the only ones that came to his funeral.
Which is funny in its own right.
It is hilarious, yeah. It's an open casket, and Eli punches them.
Just to make sure.
A couple of times. Yeah. They go, whoa, guy. Yeah, they're like, what the hell?
It just made
again. They have no idea who they are or anything. Yeah, and the funny part of no one coming to the Commodore's funeral is because I'm guessing they killed everyone.
Yes. No, that's the joke. Definitely.
Yes, so I'm guessing they killed everyone that was going to be there at the funeral.
Well, because it was all his employees, all the guys. Because his sister and brothers at one point were his employees too.
And they've been fighting guys the entire way going back. But so that's it. They don't have to do anything.
Nope, they don't.
The reason they've killed everyone so no one knows that they're after him or anything. They just
so they can end up going and living the life that they want to.
And the Commodore just died of actual natural causes. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Everyone kind of won except all the people that died.
And Charlie got to say,
Charlie
but he was going to die anyways. You got to think that was the best thing for Charlie because now he's got to open that store up.
Yeah,
that's the only thing a one-armed guy can do back then.
It's very true.
Is open up a store, but it's nice because they return to their mom.
And you know who the mom was, right? As soon as I saw her, I go, "Oh my god!"
Well, she's in a ton of stuff, but we know her most recently from the Hunters.
Yeah, from Hunters.
Yeah, she's in a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah,
she's great, but yeah, they haven't seen her in we got to guess like 20 years.
Oh, at least since they killed the father.
Because in the Old West, once you left your house, you never came back.
No, and more than likely you were dead when you left. Like your parents knew damn well that you'd never see. Yeah, you're dead.
The best they might see you on a wanted poster or something. That's like calling home.
And that's the funny thing too is they show up and she shoots the gun, a warning shot, and she's like, "Hey, it's Charlie and Eli. It's your sons. We're here." And she goes, "If you guys are in trouble, I don't even want you here. Right away, right now." It's like you haven't seen them in 20 years.
They're like, "We're here to see you." And she goes, "Why?"
Yeah, why? Something suspicious here, boys.
She goes,
"I don't like it."
And it is nice, though, because they do end up coming back. And it's very, very sweet, I would say. And you can just tell that Eli is happy. Eli's happy because they're out of danger for once. And they maybe think for now that they don't need to be running from anything. Eli kicks his shoes off, gets back into his old bed. It's sweet, man.
It is nice. It's a good wrap up to a film. Yeah. And it's one of those weird movies, like a weird Western, where not everything is happy, but it's kind of a happy ending.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, it's as damn near as happy as it gets. I mean,
especially considering everything they went through.
Yeah, it's very, yeah, that's why I said it's so different, because usually in Western it ends with the bad guy dying, being killed by the good guy, and the good guy just walking away. That's how it ends. You never see, like, he goes and starts a family, and he, like, opens a store, and
there's no
and you just assume, like, he just starts going back and killing people. But in this one, you get the feeling that, maybe they're all done with that, now that they're here, and they got a shit ton of money.
They do.
They showed that scene where they buried that money, which was smart. They're not carrying that shit around. But I liked it. What's your closing thoughts on it?
This was a movie that I saw in theaters. I really enjoyed seeing this on the big screen. I would consider this film a little bit of a slow burn. It is a dark comedy, but a slow burn film. Like, this is not one where you're going to get a ton of action or a ton of comedy scenes. Don't think of John C. Reilly and Step Brothers or Talladega Nights. This is a very, like, dry, dark humor film, but just so well. I mean, as we were talking about earlier, the dialogue is so good in this film. The acting's phenomenal as always, and the story is really unique. It's really different. It's different than most Westerns that I've ever seen. And that's something I told you back in 2018. I go, dude, this is something unlike I've really ever seen in a Western film. And the way they did it, the way they shot this, I just love this film. For me, I give this a B+.
Yeah. I'm close to that. I can't believe this movie did so bad in theaters. It's awesome. And I always think you should go see Westerns at big screens because, again, when Westerns are done right, on the planes and whatnot, it's good to see on a big screen. But my biggest complaint about this film is I think the pacing is kind of like a roller coaster.
Yes, and that's why I said slow burn.
Yeah.
That's kind of how
I felt. It's just kind of up and down where it's like, where that scene where like they all get burnt and whatever, it really comes out of nowhere. And you think that's kind of the height of it. But then it keeps going. And again, it's just kind of like a roller coaster. That's the only thing is the pacing and never felt on track, but it didn't bother me that. As far as a Western goes, it's pretty light for a Western.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of Western comedies for sure, but this is one Western where I think you're going to laugh a lot. I like this movie a lot. I gave it a B.
Okay.
Yeah, I definitely think people should go and see it.
For sure. And right now it's on Hulu, so be sure to check it out.
If you love Westerns, there's not a lot of good new Westerns that come out. It's one to go see. It's definitely different from
majority of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a spaghetti Western where there's just a lot of violence and a lot of but it's funny, man. I think it's funny.
I love the tagline, brothers by blood, sisters by name.
Yeah, even the title is so funny. The Sisters Brothers.
The Sisters Brothers.
Oh, it's classic. It's just a play on the fucking the many names they gave like duos and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and again, it's got Rutger Hauer's last performance
as a dead man
with zero dialogue. He doesn't
say a single thing.
Oh, that old Dutch actor.
May he rest in peace.
R.I.P.
Yep.
R.I.P. He got out. I think at a good time.
Yeah, considering
what's happening right now, got out July 19th. Pretty good fucking timing.
Yeah, good timing.
Actually, real good timing. That was about 5 months before the shit hit the fan.
It did. Yeah, just everything in general. Yeah. God.
Oh, it's crazy. What a different world we live in now.
Yeah, what a world.
Well, a lot of streaming, though.
Yeah, a lot of streaming shit. A lot of stuff you can watch.
That's one good thing we were just talking about that earlier. If this was any other time, I probably would have killed myself already.
Same. Yeah, if this was like 1860s or even 1960s,
or
1980s. Yeah, 1990s. It's like there's no internet, there's no nothing.
World Wide Web came online in 1991, and even then it was nothing. You couldn't do anything. But yeah, this came out or even like 1994. I would have been watching the same 30 VHS tapes I had already watched.
I'm embarrassed to even say I was born in that year.
Why? Because of the technology?
Yes, exactly.
Those bastards.
Has not been. Yeah.
Those lazy bastards.
I know, those bastards. Gosh. Come on. Bill Gates and Microsoft.
Yeah, get that shit off the ground already.
It's not that hard. I could have done. No, not a chance of now. Alrighty. Well, that's our recap, our review for The Sisters Brothers. If you guys are watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment below what you think about Sisters Brothers. You can find our podcast, audio format, Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher, social media pages, Twitter, Seen It Podcast. Cash is on Twitter. That's just Cash. Instagram, Have You Seen It? Facebook, Have You Seen It Podcast? My name is Mason Knight. That is Cash Kraus. And until next time.
Bye.